Yes, hello and very good evening to all of you. I hope you can hear me. Just tell me in the comment section so that I can read that you can hear me properly, you can see me properly. So today is the last discussion in our series of paper discussion by Ecoholics at Indian Economic Service 2023 examination. So we have just seen all those paper recently. In the last weekend we had discussed General Economics 1 and General Economics 2. Yesterday we saw General Economics 3 and today we are talking about the paper 4, that is Indian Economics. So I hope if you haven't seen those videos, go back and see those videos. And this is the different papers we will be discussing. So after this live session, you can watch those recorded live session available on our YouTube channel. Okay. So the most important thing is, if you can hear me, if you can see me, just tell me yes or no so that we can move forward. We can discuss each and every questions, how to write and how to interpret the question, what are the things that you have to incorporate in the questions, because Indian economics paper is a bit tricky in comparison to the other papers because it includes a lot of current events, current affairs, data, and the articulation of the answer is very, very vital. Before writing these kind of answers, you have to understand the question. Like for example, what are the directives in the question? Directives like discuss, narrate, critically analyze, explain, etc., etc. There are so many words that you need to get well versed before attempting any paper, any test or any question. So at Ecoholics, we do provide these kind of special sessions. If you just download the Ecoholics mobile app, you'll find these kind of sessions. And if you enroll our Ecoholics batches like Indian Economic Service batch, which recently we have started for 2024 examination, in the test series that we are going to start in the month of August, all those things will be covered in detail. But since this is the YouTube live session, so I'll be telling you in a summarized way. I'll be telling you what are the things you have to understand before writing this examination so that you can save your 1 year to the 2024 attempt, and if you can learn a lot of things from this. Okay, so my dear students, I hope you have seen the papers bifurcation. So it's 200 marks. Okay, so Indian Economic Service gives 4 economics related paper, 200 marks each. We'll be discussing this one. Here there will be questions, section A, B, C. So section A is compulsory, section B you have to write a certain number of questions from certain number, you can see on the screen, and you can read it later on this. This PDF you'll find on our Ecoholics mobile app very easily. If you are not able to find, because there's a lot of content on our Ecoholics mobile app, so what you can do is you can just drop a WhatsApp to me. My personal number 722-394-6092. I'll write it for you. If you want this PDF, I'll give you. Okay, 722-394. Okay, 394-6092. Okay, so 722-394-6092. Okay, this is my phone number. If you just drop it, WhatsApp message, I'll give you this PDF what I'm sharing. Okay, let's move forward first and try to understand this paper. Okay, so this is section A, a compulsory section. What does it mean? Compulsory section means here you will have to do all the questions which are there mentioned. Okay, so it means all the 6 part of this section and all are compulsory, so you cannot skip. It means there is no choice in answering. So 5 into 6, so it means that each and every question is of 5 marks, and 1 2 3 4 5 6, you have 6 questions, so this is multiplied by 5, comes down to 30. Okay, 30 years. So I hope you can see me, you can hear me. Again, I hope I'm not able to see your comments. I'll try to figure it out. Okay, yes. Now here what is the important thing here is the first one. First question will read, what are the things that you have to keep in mind, and all these 6 questions, what are the common thing. So all the questions under this 6 part, you will find that it is all straightforward. one-liner question majorly, and where they will give you not enough room to write it, but they will give you to give enough information. Okay, so here I am talking about 100 words. It means one single page that you will get in your question come answer booklet. Okay, so question come answer booklet, QCA, is a booklet where question is already typed and the space is given in the examination. So you will not get a copy like you used to get in your semester examinations. Okay, here you will get a dedicated space where you have to write. So write it very carefully, don't cut it off, don't waste the space. Okay, now here we'll read the question. Enumerate. Now can anyone tell me what's the meaning of enumerate? Enumerate the recent initiatives by the government to address the issues related to black money and parallel economy. Okay, now we need to see the directive. Whenever we are reading the question, first we need to see the directive. Directive here is enumerate. Okay, and what are the keywords is? Keywords are like black money and parallel economy are the two most important keywords mentioned in the question. But what is the context? I hope you remember my answer writing classes when we were discussing about understanding the keyword in the question, the content and the context. So what is the context here? Context is this one. A recent initiative. It means they do not want demonetization or before that. No. Enumerate the recent initiatives by the government to address the issues related to black money and parallel economy. Okay, 2016 was demonetization. We are in 2023. You can see the vast difference. So recent means you can go up to like 1 or 2 or maybe at max 3 years, but not more than that. Okay, so here what are the things that you have to write here? Even you can go back to demonetization, but do not focus much on the older scheme because here the context is written recent initiative. Okay, so here what are the things that you can write? You can write a lot of things like fugitive economic offenders bills, and GST is one of the bill which has helped a lot in curbing the black money. Then we have Prevention of Money Laundering Act, Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, and these are the things that you can write, like automatic exchange of information, and a lot of things are very, very vital, which is important to write. So this is a 5 marker. Under 5 marker you just write 5 points, 5 initiatives, and just explain it in one line, and that's it. No need to define what is black money, no need to define what is parallel economy, no need, because you will get only one page. It means 100 words to write it. Okay, here it is written. Is it clear? I can see. Yes. So if it's clear, just let me know that if it is clear, I can move forward. Okay, I'm just seeing your chat. Yeah. Next question we have is GST. So understand this quote unquote. Here the directive is comment. It means you just have to do a commentary. Don't have to take the stand. Don't have to like tell the exact conclusion. Whatever the sentence is saying, quote unquote. Okay, you just have to elaborate that particular point mentioned in that quote unquote sentence. Okay, so we'll read that. GST has curtailed the financial powers of the states under fiscal federalism. What's the keyword here? Fiscal federalism. What happened? What's the context here? The context is the curtailment. So you have to write from the perspective of the states, where states experienced reduced powers of taxation when they compare with pre-GST era. Okay, these are the things. So there are radical changes. GST subsumed a lot of taxes. You must be aware about that. And GST has reduced the power of state government to impose, to levy new taxes, and that is why state opposed initially, and they are still not in favor of few taxes like excise duty and other to be subsumed under GST. That is why we have other duties still present, although we have GST in the implemented in the whole country. Okay, So GST has curtailed the financial powers of the state under the fiscal federalism. So you don't have to say that yes GST curtailed, or you have to say no GST haven't curtailed, or it's like state. So do not become or do not present a biased opinion here. What you have to do is you have to present a neutral view, do a commentary, and this sentence has written from the perspective of states. So you do write certain things which actually prove that states actually experience curtailed powers in the taxation. Okay, so obviously when there are power curtailed, so central government is sharing the revenue with them, so it's like somewhat they are compensating, but the states are not happy about that. So this is how you have to frame your answer. Second one, again, enumerate the factors that have led to poor performance of India in human development. Okay, so here the keyword is human development. So here HDI is a very important thing, but other indices also you can highlight. Okay, enumerate the factors. So this is a very important keyword here. What you have to write is factors. Don't have to write reasons, don't have to write the solutions. Here you have to write factors only. So here the word is factors, which is very, very important, that have led to poor performance, kharab performance of India in particular. So only Indian context, never write anything related to neighbors. No, they are asking about only India, and they are asking only in 100 words. So you don't have words to write it. Okay. On the same lines, next question is, how can smart city mission address the socio-economic and environmental issues in urban India? So first one is directive. How can? What is the context? The mission. Mission is the context. From this context you have to write. What are the problems? Socio-economic and environmental problems, issues. Where? Urban India. So again, another context. Do not write anything from rural India's perspective or anything from all India perspectives. Okay, I hope this makes sense to you. That is all about urban India. Never write something which is not related to urban India. Okay, so here in this case, physical infrastructure is very vital, social infrastructure is vital, and if we talk about economic infrastructure, so you write several points where smart city mission is actually addressing the issues of urban India, mainly the congestion, the construction part. Infrastructure has improved a lot if you have seen in the smart city mission, and I think making beautification of Indian urbanization is very important, because right now we are around 31.5 according to 2011 census percentage of the population living in the urban areas, and I hope it has increased a lot since 2011. We'll get the new data very soon. Next is point number E, or the question number E. Account for provisions made for MSME. So here the directive is account for the provisions made for MSMEs and e-commerce exports in the trade policy of India 2021-26. Account for means the points are mentioned there, but you just have to write it. You have to mention those things into the answer. Okay, so here FTP, opening alternative credit avenues to MSMEs, and reduction in the fee structure, IT based scheme. These are the things implemented by the government. If we talk about other things, it's like raising awareness to the local producers. You must have seen the post lockdown era, people are preferring Indian brands, people are preferring what can I say, domestic production, domestic producers, domestic entrepreneurs. So this is how they have included in this. And if we talk about foreign trade policy of the same, we can say this also outlines that e-commerce exports from India to abroad, mainly USA, that has increased a lot. We have seen the major startups working into that direction, where mainly handicraft products or some products which are rare in the European markets or the North American markets, they are flourishing. Okay, Shah Jainav is asking, enumerate means you just have to explain it in detail. Okay, that's the meaning of enumeration. Last question we see, exclusion of service sector. exclusion of service sector in WPI is a major constraint in reflecting consumer inflation in India, comment. So again the word comment here is the directive, okay. Exclusion, so this quote unquote, whenever there will be a comment type of directive, there must be a certain quote unquote statement mentioned in that. Now here exclusion of service sector, that's the question, from WPI is a major constraint, it's a constraint in reflecting consumer inflation in India. Now as a common people, what I can say, as an economist or as a common people, it is important to see the prices of food. Like recently, can you tell me किस फूड आइटम का प्राइस न्यूज़ में है, बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है ना. एंड द सेकेंड वन इज़ फ्यूल. So food and fuel are the two most volatile components of inflation, or I can say retail inflation, or from the consumer's life. It is very, very important. And if you do not include these two, you won't be able to calculate the real impact of inflation on the consumers. So that is why obviously exclusion of service sector in WPI is a major constraint. So here we talk about service sector specific. Okay, so service sector actually plays a very important role. Why? Because 60% of GDP comes from service sector. So obviously WPI is important for manufacturing purpose or wholesale purpose, but not for consumer perspective. So here you can write that WPI is good or WPI is justified at their own place, but it is nowhere reflecting the story of consumers' pain in the economy. Okay, yes, tomatoes is the right answer, Rishabh. टोमेटोज़ के प्राइस कितने ज़्यादा बढ़ गए हैं कि मैकडोनल्ड्स भी बोल दिया है कि we won't be able to serve tomato. The reason is lack of supply. I don't think so the reason is lack of supply, but maybe the restaurant owners were facing the cost hike due to tomato. So actually I ordered burger from McDonald's just to see whether they are serving or not, because I saw that news. Okay, because if we talk about Indian economy, the threat is fake news. You know, सबसे ज़्यादा खतरा हमको फेक न्यूज़ से है, because we never cross check. तो मैंने cross check करने की कोशिश की and I ordered McDonald's today's afternoon, but I realized there was no tomato. So yes, maybe that news was correct. But the reason is very simple, that if you do not include the important things, you won't be able to get the clear picture of the economy. Yes. Okay, so let's move on to the next section B. Now under section B, it is important to understand that you have to do any 6 question, okay, from the question mentioned below. So you have to do only 6. So first of all, whenever you are giving the exam, read the question very quickly. Like if you are good at public finance related to Indian economy, if you are good at Panchayati Raj institution, if you are good at this and that, do only those questions. Okay, so out of these 9 questions, you have to do 6. Okay, and from these 6 questions, what is important to understand is leave the 3. So if you just read in your examination, when you are giving the examination, if you read like I don't know about regional comprehensive economic partnership, so this is the question, you just cut it in your question paper, okay, not in the question come answer booklet. Okay, if you're not comfortable about 73rd 74th constitution amendment, leave it. So first see what are the questions that you can do or you'll be able to attempt. Okay, any question till this point for section 1? Second question, discuss. Okay, here the word is discuss. Okay, again you can say discuss word is mentioned here. Again the word enumerate, this year UPSC loves this word. Critically examine. When we take our answer writing session in our batches, and I take 90-minute session only on these terms. So those who are the student part of the batch, I will be taking that session very soon. because I was just waiting for this year's paper to get more inputs so that you will be better ready for 2024. Okay, so we'll read the question and try to understand. Discuss the causes and the consequences of recent fiscal deficits in India and the measures taken under Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act towards fiscal prudence. So there are a lot of terms mentioned here, and these terms are very vital. Just a second. Yeah. These terms like fiscal responsibility and budget management. This is one term, FRBM. You must have heard about that. Towards fiscal prudence, किफ़ायती. Okay, fiscal prudence means किफ़ायती, deficit को कम करना. Okay, reducing the deficit. So discuss what we have to discuss. The causes. This is context. This is another context. Causes and consequences. Okay, of recent. I'm talking about recent fiscal deficits in India. Deficits. This S also stands a lot of importance here, because here you have to talk about at least 2 to 3 years. Post-COVID का question है ये. In India, so only talk about India, not talk about any state. Okay, and the measure taken under Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act towards fiscal prudence. ओके तो हिंदी में मैं आपको इसको समझाता हूँ कि आपको कॉजेज एंड कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज डिस्कस करने हैं किसके, रीसेंट फिस्कल डेफिसिट जो रीसेंट कुछ सालों में हुए हैं इंडिया के, किसी स्टेट के नहीं, और क्या मेजर्स टेकन किए गए हैं, क्या मेजर्स लिए गए हैं अंडर FRBM एक्ट. एक FRBM एक्ट आया था 2003 में और 2016 में एनकेसिंग कमेटी ने उसका रिव्यू किया था. वो एक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग फिस्कल प्रूडेंस क्या कहता है, ये चीज क्या करना है, डिस्कस करना है. डिस्कस मीन्स हैव टू सी बोथ साइड्स एंड ट्राई टू गिव कंक्लूजन. ओके, Rishabh is saying, can we also mention the role of states in deficit? Rishabh, you can give examples of those states which are doing well, but here major thing is, okay, to talk about India only, because if I ask what is your name, you will tell me your name only, not even surname. So here if they are talking about India, write only about India. Okay, thank you. Okay, Rishabh, I hope you are able to understand. So what you have to do is government spending, you have to tell about subsidies. Economic slowdown is one of the causes. Another cause is in infrastructure development. Post-COVID, government has to or had to invest a lot in the health sector, so budget went up, R&D and a lot of things. What are the consequences? Consequences like what happened if fiscal deficit goes up? Number one is inflation. A lot of debt will be there. Government will need more money to fund. Okay, so they will take debt. More money supply in the market, inflation. Then the second thing, deficit goes up means borrowing. So borrowing again goes up. And when government borrowing goes up, there's a crowding out effect as well. Crowding out effect means if government is borrowing from the market, it means for the private sector, the money available in the market it will go down or is in shortage. So what it will do is the interest rate goes up because there's a competition, people are asking for money. But since government is also asking from that pool of money which is belong to private sector or the market, that will be end up as a crowding out effect. Okay, so this is how you have to write. I have to write little bit about FRBM, just one line, because it's like 200 words answer, so you will get 2 pages to write it, 15 marks. So just to give the hint to the examiner that you know about FRBM, just that's it, nothing else. Okay, any doubt till this point? Next is question number 3. Question number 3 is very current. So we'll see, it's comment again, that's why whatever is like very simple and which is more current based, they will give in the comment format. Okay, though the export promotion strategy has resulted in diversification of India's export basket, yet it has failed to decrease the trade deficit. Now you understand export basket. Basket means the amount of quantity or different types of product that we export. Like we export mango, we export car, we export petroleum, we export lot of things. So what does it mean? Diversification of export basket means there are so many other items we will also include to export. Okay. So what's diversification? That diversification will help in seeing the fluctuation in the demand and supply in the export market. But again, it has failed to decrease the trade deficit. So what you have to do is you have to write it. What are the diversification that government of India has actually implemented? Here you have to throw some data as well regarding the export and the deficit, and majorly you have to write certain things about export, like inelastic export demand. Few items are having inelastic demand, few items are I can say very elastic in comparison to other seasonal products. Then exchange rate plays a very important role. You must have seen that rupee has been depreciating, so that is another cause of trade deficit. Then second thing is we can say import dependency, because if exports are not growing and import dependency is growing, so obviously again the trade deficit will also grow. So these are the things that you can write. If you have any doubt, you can ask in this question. I'll just see the chat box. Yeah. Okay. Next we'll move on to the discussion. Discuss the impact of 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments on decentralization of financial powers, responsibility, resources to Panchayati Raj institutions. So here few things that you have to write. Here the context is the impact. So impact means you have to write positive and negative impact, because they are asking about discussion, है ना. So I hope you are able to understand the question. कैसे question को interpret करना है, कैसे question समझना है. Because if you are not fail to understand the question, suppose for example in enumerate you write discuss, or in critically examine you write enumerate, although you will write good content, all the content which is required, but the tone is not good or not in the direction of the question asked, you will be in trouble. You will not be able to fetch marks, and then you will say UPSC doesn't give marks. Okay, so UPSC gives marks. It depends on you, your skill, how you can fetch it. Okay, is it clear everyone? I can just see the chat box again. Yeah. So next is positive impact, like the financial powers that we have transferred to these institute. The local bodies played a very important role in mobilizing the local resources, so that's about the powers. Then the empowerment that we have given to Panchayati Raj institution, but here you can write about urban local bodies as well, ULBs, because they are talking about 74th Constitutional Amendment Act as well. 73rd is for Panchayati Raj, 74th is local urban bodies. Okay, the municipality. So you can write from the both perspective. So discuss is positive and negative. In negative we can say a lot of political involvement is there, although we have a reservation for women as well, but this issue of proxy leading in the name of women. Then fiscal capacity is another important I can say challenge in front of PRIs and ULBs in implementing. Then the capacity building. Capacity is again like in different regions, different what can say states, some local government having administrative issue, technical and managerial challenges. So there are a lot of challenges that they are facing. So responsibilities are there, but I feel that the financial powers and the resources somewhere lacking in order to get the good implementation. Question number 5, we'll move on. Yeah. Enumerate economic and social infrastructure programs launched after 2015. So here this is the context after 2015 towards restructuring the rural economy and reduction in poverty. तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट आपको मिल गया सिंस 2015, दो आपको डायरेक्शन भी मिल गए एन्यूमरेट के साथ, थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करना. रूरल इकोनॉमी एंड रिडक्शन इन पॉवर्टी, दीज आर द टू. Talking about social infrastructure projects only programs. Okay, so here you can write a lot of programs like NRUM, which we have launched in 2016. Okay, another program, this is National Rural Urban Mission and a Urban Mission, and then next we have is SVA MITVA. Okay, So survey of villages and mapping improvised technology in village areas. Okay, so Samitwa is another scheme which is having conducted since 2020 to till 2025. They are having the target. So comprehensive local level planning they are again having. Then we have Pradhan Mantri KKK triple KY. Okay, sometimes difficult to remember, but on the basis of abbreviation you can say. So Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana. It was launched in 2015. So again you can write this. Another scheme is we have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Okay, this is for skill development. So again this is another scheme which has helped the social infrastructure, especially rural economy and reduction in poverty. So here you cannot write Manrega. Be very careful because it's after 2015. I hope makes sense. Any doubt please ask. Okay, so we'll just move up with 4 more questions or maybe 5. Sixth one is critically examine. Critically examine means first you have to criticize, but you have to examine that particular factors or mention. So first we'll read the question, what is there. Critically examine the causes and consequences. Again, if you remember the last question that we discussed about causes and consequences, or different type of migratory flows on the home and destination economies. Okay, so this is about migration from labor and a labor perspective. The 7th module, I guess 7th is industries, before that labor, in the syllabus it is mentioned. So causes and consequences of different types of migratory flow. So sometimes like here talking about home and destination economy, so it doesn't mean that we are talking about India only or abroad only. It's about state as well. People from Bihar moving to Maharashtra, people from UP Haryana moving to Delhi, people from like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala moving to Bangalore, or similar like Hyderabad and Kolkata. So here you can say that you have to critically examine the causes and consequences. So first you give the criticism, but you examine the situation as well, and then provide constructive criticism with the solution. Okay, so migratory flow can be a crossing a boundary of a country in a specific time period, but it can be like a state boundary, or it can be a like an international border. Okay, with visa and all. Okay, people go to Middle East as well. So here home and destination economy, what is the causes and the consequences. So there are a lot of causes and consequences why people move from one place to another, like from Naxalite areas to developed areas in Chhattisgarh. Why people are moving? Because of political unrest, conflict is there. Some people move due to economic disparities, like in the drought prone area of Vidarbha, people are moving towards wider region. People from Punjab, they are also moving to somewhere near where the water availability is good for their agriculture. Then there are demographic factors as well. So there are a lot of things to be, we can say, as a causes, but consequences, there are a lot of consequences in the labor market. If I talk about Delhi and Bangalore, because I frequently visit these two places a lot. If you see Delhi versus Bangalore, in Bangalore the public transport is very, very costly. The reason is alternative ways of transports are rarely available. Okay, autos are there but less in number. People prefer cabs, so that's why cab rates are like skyrocketing. But when we compare to Delhi, we have metro, you have e-rickshaw, you have cycle rickshaw, you have auto, you have private cabs, you have Ola, Uber, metro. So there are a lot of things. So depends on the I can say the market changes, because in Delhi I feel that labor is easily available. Okay, all the same thing goes for Mumbai as well. Okay, now demographic changes like migration is also causes certain benefits, certain problems. So that has also happened, like in US a lot of Indian goes, they work, they provide their employment. Like in a lot of Scandinavian countries or European countries are attracting workforce from other countries like Canada just to have that demographic right. Okay, next is economic growth, socio-cultural. So these are the impacts of migration. Okay. Shah Janav is saying in critically examine required to write the positive as well. I'm not saying that you have to write positive, but I'm saying that you have to provide solution. Okay, so critically analyze, it means analysis with full criticism but with solution. UPSC will never ask you to write only problems. They will always seek solution from you as an economist. Okay. Next is again the word comment. So FDI has a positive impact on the growth and employment, but has also resulted in number of negative externalities. So here comment means you just have to elaborate this particular sentence that yes, FDI has a positive impact on growth and employment. So write few things about FDI, that this is good, this is bad, this is good. Economy grew, a lot of foreign investment came, employment, infrastructure, a lot of things are there. But what are negative externalities? It means the economic dependence, like Ford company, motor vehicle company Ford recently wind up from India. So recently they wind up their operations. So that actually negative impact because of the economic dependency. Income distribution is one of the case. Okay, environmental impact of those industry, like if they are polluting, that is again negative externality. If you are like I visited Visakhapatnam 2 years back, I saw a lot of industry near ocean, so that is again negative externality of a FDI. Okay, so this is a very simple question that you have to write. Next is identify the socio-economic and cultural factors. So what are the factors? Socio-economic and cultural. What you have to do is you have to identify that led to existence and persistence of child labor in India. The most important thing is just to identify. Okay, do not explain much, just identify. The second part of the question is discuss some of the recent initiative of the government to address the issue. Recent. So take few like socio-economic cultural factors. क्या है child labor case? Poverty. Poverty is the most important thing. Then the next is lack of education, because if people are not educated, they are not aware about their rights, they are not able to get good jobs, decent jobs. So as you will feel that as Indian economy will grow, you will find less and less of labor at the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, you will feel shortage of maids, shortage of laborers. So if we talk about child labor, the reason is very simple. If the whole family is not able to feed themselves, they will push their children to work. Work in factories which are hazardous, not very cordial for working, and as well as if a child is working, they are not able to get the education, desired education. Sometimes social norms and attitude also plays a very important role as a cause, I can say, factors, because they think that pad lik ke kya hoga, what you will do after like studying or etc. So government has taken a lot of steps like RTE, Right to Education Act in 2009, and a child labor project also is there. NCPR, they have made the commission to protect the child rights. Child labor amendment bill is also there. Okay, so these are the things that government has taken. Okay, Rishabh is asking, so we can't give the positive impact of migration but can provide the solution for it. I'm not saying that you cannot give, but migratory fellows here, they are saying critically examine. It means you have to tell that what will happen into home and destination economies. So if a labor is moving from India to Middle East, what will be the impact on India as well as in the Middle Eastern country? Simple. If that person will go to Middle East, if suppose their income goes up, the standard of living will go up there. They will send some foreign exchange reserves to India. Indian family will also grow with that foreign exchange reserves. So that is again, I can say positive impacts are also there, but it depends how the tone that you will follow. So I'm not saying that you cannot write, but here that may be the problem. If the lot of foreign direct investment will come, okay, again that's an issue. That's an issue. I can say that's the issue because of liquidity. It will increase the liquidity. Okay. Next point. Next question. India's decision of not joining RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is based on the sound economic reasoning and is not a diplomatic strategy. Discuss. So there are two reasons I can say, and both those reasons mentioned in this question. So two reasons, two assumptions that we were making. RCEP, that India did not join. A lot of newspaper articles and like decent economists were saying that India missed the bus. I don't think so. I'm in a favor of India not joining RCEP because we cannot bargain with our rights in terms of international market if we do not feel anything right or anything wrong in that particular thing. So I don't think so India is compelled to sign on anything, and we have a big market, and that RCEP was not favoring services but favoring more of goods, so that would have been beneficial to China more in comparison to India. So India did not sign that. So trade deficit is one of the reasons with China, because if we sign that, it would have opened the doors for China's goods. Domestic industry protection is also one of that, because Make in India is building a lot of Indian industry, domestic industries. So I think it would have a disaster if we have launched Make in India along with signing RCEP. So I think that was there. Non-tariff barriers, like within RCEP framework, India expressed that worry about non-tariff barriers, but it was not entertained at a decent level. So India also turned off from signing that. Unequal market access. If we talk about market access in goods, it was there but not in services, so that is unequal. Again, that's the issue, that's why India did not sign. Okay, yes. Next question, question number 10. Discuss the issues and the challenges to Indian financial sector in the view of recent developments in the global financial market. So this question came because a lot of development happened since January about the Indian financial sector, the Hindenburg report and the Adani case. So what happened in the global financial market, Indian financial market, recent developments, a lot of things are there. So volatility was there due to war between Russia and Ukraine, a lot of unrest, elections, a lot of things were there. And interest rate is one of the important factor here, because whenever there is a raise in the interest rate, stock market reacts very differently in different part. Global economic slowdown due to war and demand suppressing, I can say that was another issue. Layoff by big companies reduced the demand as well. Then the non-performing assets of the banks was one of the main reason behind this, and I can say the regulatory issues created a lot of trouble, which a global financial market or Indian financial market did not receive well. Okay, so these were the reasons. Let's move on to the last 6 questions in the section 3. Okay, so this is section 3. Any 4 questions that you have to do from these 6, 300 words, it means you'll get 3 pages to write. Okay, in the question come answer booklet, 20 marks each, 4 question, 80. Okay, so let's move on to discuss this. Any doubt till this point? Rishabh is saying yes, Since Independence is a good book. Since Independence, 1000 plus pages. That will give you a full story, full movie. Like watching a trailer is never fruitful. You'll not be able to remember a lot of things. But if you watch the full movie, you'll be able to remember the full trailer. So you have to watch the movie and write the trailer in the examination. I hope you understand. Okay, let's read the question number 11. Okay, here you have to write 3 pages. Okay, we'll go a bit fast. We have less time, so if you have any doubt, you can ask. The economic reforms initiated in 1990s have led to reduction in the poverty. Yet they have widened the interpersonal income inequality, quote unquote. Critically examine and suggest measure to tackle the issue. Now these questions become simpler because it's like more oriented towards a certain issue where you have to dig deep and write a lot of things. Okay, So here economic reforms initiated in 1990s have led to reduction in poverty because rise in the income, but income inequality was a problem. Okay, so I can say that almost 30 years we have seen, but it was not equally distributed. Urban areas experienced more significant growth. Privatization of industries in the corporate section to the metropolitan cities, they have benefited a lot. In terms of formal sector grew a lot in comparison to informal sector, and that is why that inequality increased. Now what are the measures? So measures like public funded high quality services like public health, education, if we do that, because if I ask you, people want government job, but people don't want to go to the government hospital, people don't want their children to go into the government schools, but they want government job. So on the same lines, it's like somewhere here and there there's a mismatch. So if you see the government's performance here, Manrega is another reason I can say that reduce the poverty. So another measure that tackled this issue of inequality. The tax to GDP ratio also will reduce the inequality, so that is another measure that has been taken by the government. Labor intensive manufacturing sector, so it means more opportunity for the people, those who have missed these economic reforms. So again in I can say Make in India and other startup schemes that government has rolled out, that has helped a lot of people, those who have missed the bus in 1990 economic reforms. Okay, so these are the new generational economic reforms this government has been doing in order to reduce the inequality. Okay, I have few graphs. If you just WhatsApp me, I'll share those graphs with you to understand it better in this question. Okay, next question. Account for the factors that are prevented farmers from getting remunerative prices of their product. It means you just have to mention, okay, these are the problems, or these are the areas, or these are the reasons why farmers are prevented to get remunerative prices of their product. Now the next word is examine. It means you have to see which one is this. So examine some recent initiatives to reform the agriculture marketing system by the government. So this is a two-part question. 20 marks mentioned there, it means 10 for each. If you write Essential Commodities Act ECA 1955, this is a major reason behind farmers are not getting remunerative price. Next I can say the APMC mandis, which was there for providing benefits to the farmer, but later on they became exploitative. Okay, so it is often said that the exact price is in the different market, and there's a lot of middlemen are there, that is why also preventing farmers to get the remunerative prices. And I can say the storage facility, what I feel, because we lose a lot of commodities, like you guys are saying that tomato is reaching around 150 rupees to 200 in certain parts of our nation, but still I would easily say farmers are not getting the benefit of those high prices. We are paying to the middlemen. So there's again I can say that a lot of wastage during the rainy season. Okay, this is 200. Okay, not zoo, it looks like Z. Okay, but farmers are not getting enough. The reason is middlemen, reason is problem in storage, warehousing. The reason is a lot of people between, they are inflating the prices, maybe hoarding or something. The news will come up very soon about people hoarding tomatoes, taking prices, shot the roof up, and then they'll be selling. So again hoarders plays a very important role, but government has tried to provide that is PM Asha Yojana. Okay, AASHA, Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan 2018, to correct the policy bias in the procurement operations. Then Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare plan to create Agri-Stack. Okay, Agri-Stack, collecting technology based intervention in agriculture. Then Kisan Rail, launched by Ministry of Railway, Kisan Rail, to move perishables quickly as soon as possible in the deficient regions from one region to another. Like North India is majorly facing the crisis of tomato shortage in comparison to other. Okay. Next is privatization and disinvestment of public sector units was a compulsion and not a choice for India. So privatization, this discuss. So again you have to see pros and cons. Why at the time of independence PSU was important. Okay. It's like temple of India, what Pandit Nehru said. And so at the time of independence it was important to have PSUs, but later on it became inefficient. So it was like a compulsion because they were inefficient. Private companies entered into the market in 1991 and it surpassed those public sector undertakings. So again I can say fiscal constraint, inefficiency, corruption, substantial investment required in that. A lot of things were there. That is why I can say that it was due to compulsion, not by choice. Red tapeism and a lot of things were there. Easy question, good to write. Next is globalization has made international labor standards more relevant today. Discuss the impact on the labor and the economy. So what you have to do is discuss what you have to do is impact on two things, labor and economy. So whenever you're writing these kind of answers, you just write discuss on impact on labor and impact on the economy. So we're discussing two things. And this quote unquote is the context. So globalization has made international labor standards more relevant today. Reason is obviously ILO is also actively looking. Government of India is also looking like in the hiring and firing, again achieving a goal of decent work in the globalized world. And obviously these are non-binding, but they are recommendatory in nature, and that will help you. Okay. Yes. So international legal frameworks also improved, and beneficial sectors like labor standards must be there, and working hours. That's what we call formal sector. Okay, they get certain kind of benefits. It's so interconnected with the world companies. So we'll be having a common law where we can regulate these things. So again, that is another easy question which you can write in 20 marks for 3 pages. Okay. Next thing is 15th question. India's inflation is basically structural in nature. Monetary and fiscal intervention can only moderate its rate, but cannot be a permanent solution. So this is a sentence. Explain using the appropriate statistics with logic and reasoning. The reason is very simple, because these two interventions can move your ship. Okay, it's like the steering and acceleration and brake, like you drive a car or a two-wheeler. So monetary policy I can say handle, but fiscal policy is like accelerator and brake. So on the same lines, that is how we teach in our classes. So monetary policy can maneuver the economy, fiscal policy can accelerate or put brakes, like by raising the taxes or giving extra budgetary injection. So that can accelerate and that can put brake. So in the same lines, but this is basically a structural problem. So in order to correct that, you have to change the vehicle. I hope you understand the logic here. Okay. So India's inflation being a primary structural in nature, inflation is always there because we depend on imports as well. Infrastructure and supply side constraint will always be there because we are a developing country and infrastructure development is a challenge. Sometimes we feel restriction in that. Okay. Next is core inflation and food inflation. Again, that is very important driver of inflation. So sometimes just because of food inflation or some inflation, we have to raise the interest rate, and that curtail the borrowings and the growth in the Indian economy. So these are the things what I can say that creates a challenge. But annual changes in the food inflation and a lot of things that creates a bit problem, which is structural, I feel, and that is where India struggles. Next is again a discuss, you can say, non-banking financial institution NBFIs have read financial access and entrepreneurship, but have also, so here I think, have ensured financial access. So some typo is there, but just don't mind it. But have also led to uncertainty in the market and created a regulatory woes to the RBI. So I hope you have seen from 2016 there was certain crisis in the NBFIs, you know, IFSL and other cases came up. So NBFC has played an irreplaceable role because banking license are difficult to get. So NBFCs are like providing the deficit in the demand of the supply in the credit, and that is where NBFC plays a very important role. But small size NBFCs, sometimes they create a problem, and sometimes I can say long-term credit infrastructure they are giving to infrastructure project on the short-term short-term liabilities, because they are taking short-term money and giving for long-term, and when that long-term project fails, they are failed to provide that short-term finances. So that is what I can say the regulatory woes to RBI, and they obviously they play a very important role, but decline in their asset quality. What is asset quality for NBFI? Is the loan that they are giving if it is not coming up. Suppose there are like a project of 500 flats in a multi-story. अब NBFI ने उसको लोन दिया, they have given the loan to that particular builder. If that project fails, that decreases the asset quality. So asset quality is one of the important things, that misalignment of their demand and supply in the asset and liability. So asset liability mismatch is the most important problem here, and liquidity problem that they face when they have to provide extra credit. So these are the issues that they face, what I feel, and that create a real struggle for NBFCs. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the session, and if you still have any doubt, you can tell me or send me on WhatsApp. Okay, we provide the Indian Economic Service classes, live classes, and those live classes will help you in qualifying this examination. In that live classes there are a lot of facilities like weekly test, hard copy study material, okay, one-to-one guidance, one-to-one mentorship. We keep our batch size to 50 in one batch, so we do not increase that. And then we provide test, model answer, evaluation. Okay, so a lot of things are there. If you are thinking about making a dream in Indian Economic Service, want to become an economist in the Ministry of Finance, that will help you a lot if we talk about this course. So if you need any more detail, if you need my personal guidance, my WhatsApp number is given in the description. Okay, so that's it from my side. If you have any doubt, yes, thank you so much, Rishabh. Yes, that perspective is very important, Rishabh, because what I'm teaching here in 1 hour, I teach in my batches for approximately 10 to 12 hours. We do live answer writing practice as well. आप आंसर लिखते हो, मैं आपके सामने आपकी कॉपी चेक करता हूँ. So this is how we find out the mistakes, and this is how students are improving at Ecoholics. So I hope you enjoyed the session. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. If you have any doubt, you can just WhatsApp me since we are running out of time. Okay, I'll take care of all your doubts on my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is 7223946092, mentioned in the description of this video as well. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe so that you'll get notified when these kind of session will come. Okay, thank you so much. Good night.